You know what? I haven't felt this conflicted about an index volume in a long time. Genesis Testament 11 is the latest volume in the index light novels, and there is so much I love about this volume, and yet there's so much I hate about it at the same time. I can't get over this, and it's impossible for me to discuss this without going into spoilers, so you're being warned, whether you like spoilers or not. Here we go. So, at the end of the last volume, on the 20th anniversary of the franchise, Toma died. Yep, he's straight up dead. And now Anna Kingsford has gone back to being dead, I guess, and has gone into this white world, which is seemingly purgatory. And she has a solution to bringing Toma back to life. They've got to go through hell. Basically, Anna Kingsford transports Toma to hell. And then who do they meet there? None other than Christian Rosenkreutz, aka Johann Valentin Andre, who we will just call CRC from now on because it's easier for me to say. And I really like aspects of this volume. I like what Kamachi tried to do, but at the same time, I'm kind of baffled by some of his decisions in this volume in terms of his writing. And the actual plot structure wasn't explained that well. First, let's go over the positives of the volume because it's not all doom and gloom. And I went into this volume really wanting to like it. I had high expectations, I'm sure everyone else did. We all saw Anna Kingsford looking cool as hell on the cover. And yep, she's one of the best things about this volume. But not gonna lie, I think it should have just been CRC and Toma. Why do I say this? Because that was Kamachi's original intent. It was just originally going to be Toma and CRC in hell. And yet he included Anna Kingsford as he felt like he needed a female character. And I think it would have been a hard sell for the casual fans if there wasn't a female character in this volume. Because it's just the three of them, the three amigos throughout the entire volume. There's no other characters really. I mean, you get glimpses of the people in the real world like Index and Misaka who are feeling really sad that Toma's dead, and you get to see his classmates' reaction kinda to Toma's death, and that's one of the better things about the volume for sure. But the reason I say Anna Kingsford probably shouldn't have been in the volume, I know it's controversial to say, is because her inclusion doesn't really make sense to the plot. And yes, I will explain what I mean by that. But first, the positives. Yes, Anna Kingsford is great. CRC, he has become an amazing character. I mean, I already liked him in GT9, but I felt like his motivations and stuff were a bit lacking, but you get a full lore dump. So yeah, if you like the Taro lore, you're going to get a lot more here, which I really appreciated. And you really understand CRC as a character now, why he made the decisions he made. Why does he hate the Rosenkreutz character? Why does he want to tarnish his character's reputation, and he's basically dressing up as him to make everyone hate him. It's all explained here, and my god, yeah, this has a lot of deep themes in regard to that in chapter 2. Like in terms of how people come up with ideas and how they spiral out of control, they get taken over by like other people who adopt them in the future. It can be applied to a lot of religions who, you know, a lot of religions start off with good intentions and then they just get overrun by bad people who use it as an excuse to do bad things and kill people and wage wars and seemingly go against the noble qualities of the religion. So, or even when you apply this to the political ideologies as well, it's the same kind of principles. They all believe they're doing the right thing and they're bringing about this new ideological system, and then it has massive consequences for the rest of humanity for many future generations to come. Just think about it, like people, whether you're religious or not, like the people who wrote the Bible or came up with Das Kapital with Karl Marx or whatever. I'm not going too political here, but in terms of that, like all the future implications those books had on humanity, it's crazy. And that's what exactly happened with CRC or JVA as he wrote about this fictional story, which was based upon real world principles from, you know, ancient history and a bit of Christianity as well thrown in there. As the Renaissance began and people were looking to the past for inspiration and looking more towards science with alchemy as well, and incorporating the magic and science into that, and then coming up with this new belief system in Rosicrucianism as a way of pranking people he didn't like. But then people actually believed it was true, and it influenced like a lot of the main magic cabals in Index and Aleister Crowley and the Golden Dawn, etc. And he basically just grew to despise everything and how people were taken advantage of due to his belief system that he created as a way to troll, basically. And he was labeled as a liar himself because he claimed that, oh yeah, I was the one who did it. But no one believed him. But yes, JVA, he has a lot of character development in this volume as well, especially towards the end. So pretty good. And Toma himself, Toma has changed a lot, as when you're in hell, it basically changes your personality somewhat. So Toma is a bit different to how he usually is in Index. The Toma we know is a guy who, you know, is very selfless, even though he became more selfish thanks to the Offness arc. But there's, you know, people in hell who are suffering because they're sinners. And he doesn't bother to save them. He's basically like, oh, they're lost cause. And he also takes the first chance he can get to being resurrected, even though it kind of shafts both Kingsford and JVA. And he doesn't try to come up with a solution where everyone can be saved. And that's what Toma usually would do. He would usually say, oh, I need to find a reality where everyone is happy. This is more like Offness arc Toma, I believe. This is selfish Toma in this volume. And it's partially due to Anna Kingsford as well, influencing him. There's like a tease in the volume where you think, oh, is Anna Kingsford good or bad? Because so far, she has been just a saint. She's got no bad bone in her body. And then JVA kind of acts like Lucifer, trying to implant the seed of doubt into Toma's mind and say, oh, don't you think she has ulterior motives with what she's doing, bring you to the lower depths of hell? Like, isn't this a bit sus, Toma? Toma does doubt her for a moment, but then realizes, oh no, JVA, of course, is the evil guy. I mean, he was evil in Genesis Testament 9, so of course he's going to be evil again here, especially in hell. That being said, Anna Kingsford purposefully made Toma want to take the selfish choice, which reminds me of like the Wilhelmina Network in NT9 a bit. It's not as explored as deep as that, but you do get a little bit here and there, so I do like that about Kingsford's character. Willing to sacrifice herself and take the noble option. Both Kingsford and CRC are very similar. So they were both, you know, legendary magicians who have been resurrected. JVA was resurrected by Bridgeable's Cabal, and Anna Kingsford was resurrected by Aleister Crowley. But the two of them are kind of opposites of each other. Kingsford is the noble person. Like, she's aware that her time has kind of gone in the world. She's resurrected as a freak chance, basically, by Aleister. She's, like, abandoned what she believed in originally. She doesn't care about that. All that she cares about is, you know, saving other people, kind of. So it's kind of similar to Toma, I suppose, but using her expertise to make a benefit in the world and helping Aleister and Toma. Well, JVA is complete opposite of that. He's selfish. He just wants to follow through with his own selfish desires, complete his revenge and his life mission of basically just destroying the magic side, which then or cause the science side to crumble as well. So he basically just ruined the world entirely if he got resurrected a second time, as JVA wants to come back to the world once again and steal Toma's ticket. Although, that being said, it's not Toma's ticket to being resurrected, it's actually JVA's, but we'll get onto that very soon. So I do like aspects of the volume. I like the characters. The trio is really good. This volume is surprisingly funny, although it's a double-edged sword. Like, it's funny in places. Like, Kamachi purposefully went for a light-hearted tone in this volume, contrast from the bleak nature of hell. It doesn't entirely work at times, but again, that'll go in the negatives. But there's parts of the volume which got a laugh out of me, I admit. The volume is also one of the shortest volumes in Index, which again is a double-edged sword. Kamachi's pacing can be a bit bad at times, but this volume is paced pretty well, not gonna lie. There are a few sequences here and there where could have been cut out and it's just kind of like wasting time to get to the final objective, but overall it goes by quickly, and I've got to commend Kamachi on the pacing of this volume. It was good, well paced, even though I probably would have liked more. Again, it's like everything I say about this volume is like there's a positive, and with the positive there comes a negative. It's annoying. And yes, I did like the ending of this volume, but again, it's a double-edged sword. The ending is good, but what else can I say that's positive about this volume? Yes, this volume is basically a giant reference to Dante's Inferno. Like, especially towards the end, it basically references the ninth circle of hell, taking place in Giudecca, where the three most sinful people are punished. Those three people aren't named, but in Dante's Inferno, it's meant to be Brutus, Cassius, and Judas, of course. But I don't know why it's Brutus and Cassius. I mean, okay, I guess all three of them are known traitors, probably the most famous traitors in history, but at the same time, like, okay, Judas I can understand because he, you know, betrayed Jesus, who was the son of God, but Brutus and Cassius, like, come on, Julius Caesar was a dick too. It's not like Julius Caesar was completely innocent. Like, come on, man. Oh well. So yeah, if you're into Greek mythology especially, and Dante's Inferno, you'll enjoy the structure and the references in this volume, definitely. And I'm not sure I can think of anything else that is positive. I mean, the final fight was interesting. I have things to say about the final fight. Okay, now on to the negatives. So, the main thing in this volume is that while it takes place in hell, it's not actually hell. It's an artificial hell made by CRC. And he got to this artificial hell first. So yeah, CRC basically made a new phase, a new layer of reality that covers the universe that is basically overlapping the actual real hell. It's basically overlapped on top of it, I guess. Now this is where things get bad. Because, okay, so Kingsford somehow knew about this artificial hell that CRC created, unless she thought she was going into the real hell. But from what I gather at the end of the volume, she knew it was CRC and made this fake hell. Why not tell Toma prior to this? Okay, CRC is there, but while CRC is getting taken away by Nyx or the Cerberus in the river, then's your time to tell Toma, oh, by the way, Toma, this is actually the fake hell, and CRC is going to try and steal the one-way ticket to get out, and only one person can get out. It's not like we can all go. That'd be handy to know prior, before CRC betrays them, you know, wouldn't it? And that's another thing which I have a gripe with. The fact that CRC is so readily accepted to join in the trio, even Toma's like, oh, why is this guy coming along with us? Like, usually I'd be like, opposed to this. And he'd say, oh yeah, Toma, he's changed. So he's just like, okay, tag along. And CRC himself has changed. CRC in this volume is more of a one-way road. That's an Accelerator reference, but you get the point. He's not a chaotic nut job like he was in GT9. I mean, he's still a bit crazy, but he's not going around doing side quests all the time and getting distracted. That's what I mean. And that's the way CRC has been affected. But it's not like, oh yeah, Anna Kingsford doesn't even like raise an eyebrow that say, oh, why are we letting CRC join with us? Why don't they just ditch him? I mean, CRC got there first. He was there waiting at the gate. And the reason why he hasn't gone on his own to get the one-way ticket is because his map doesn't work. And if you like backtrack in hell, it can be like a problem. So that's the way I can explain it, I suppose. But at the end of the volume, it's revealed that he can control pretty much everything in hell. If he can control everything in hell, surely nothing would be an obstacle to him. So it wouldn't matter if he got lost. I mean, he'd spend a lot of time, but why were you just sitting there bored if you know that there's only one ticket to hell? I guess he didn't know that, you know, Anna Kingsford and Toma would be there. But at the same time, yeah, move on. Like, come on. It's like, how does Anna Kingsford know about this artificial hell? I mean, it must be the same way it's structured to the actual hell. It must be that. It must be structured very same to hell. It must have the same thing, same layout, etc. I think it's implied. But then how does Anna Kingsford know how the original hell is structured? We don't know. It's never explained. And this is the main thing about the volume. A lot of just isn't explained enough in detail. We need more detail, Kamachi. Like, I can't get enough about this, because this is the only time where I think we need more Kamachi info dumping. Like, this is the shortest volume in Index so far. That's a mainline volume. I feel like we need more explanations for a lot of the plot in this volume. Like, a lot of stuff just isn't explored, and I feel like if we knew a lot more about this, then it would make more sense. But Kamachi just doesn't bother. And I don't understand why he's just gone like, oh, let's make it the shortest volume in history. Add more detail so we understand this shit. Explain. Like, come on. And if this isn't the only things that haven't been explained either. When the hell did CRC even make this hell? Did he make it prior to his first resurrection? While he was still alive, you know, in like the 1600s or whatever? If so, why didn't he resurrect himself? Or was he just lost in hell for like 400 years? I mean, he did say something like he was strolling around for 400 years. Is that what he's referring to? Or was that the actual original hell he was stuck in for 400 years? And then it's like, did he make it? If not then did he make it when he got resurrected by the Bridge Builders Cabal in GT9? When the hell did he make that? Did he make it off screen? Did he make it when he died the second time by Alice? When he went to the original hell, did he just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make a brand new phase with my clip-off magic? I mean, it's said that there's only one chance to do this, but if he made it while he's in the actual hell, why can't he just keep making new phases? Why can't he try again? When was this hell made? Kamachi, tell me! There's a plot that we don't know if Toma can use Imagine Breaker in this volume. The magicians can use magic because they're using the clip-off instead of the Sephiroth, which is like basically the demon side of the Tree of Life, the evil tree. It's the inverse of it. I have no problems with that. That's fine. They can use magic in hell. I have no problem with that. I mean, I guess magic requires mana, and mana is life force, but again, angels can use magic and they don't have physical bodies, so okay, that's fine. But Toma, why can Toma use the Magic Breaker? No, near the end of the volume, it's revealed, yes, he can use the Magic Breaker. But how does that work when he's, you know, his corpse is there and Magic Breaker's supposedly physical? I guess we'll have to wait and see for answers for that question, but I hope it gets answered, because I know what Kamachi's like. It's same thing with CRC. When did he make this hell? When did Kihara Hasu in GT5 like use the high voltage cutting to turn himself into a ghost before he died? When the hell did he do that? We never saw that in GT3, and it's similar stuff. We never got an explanation for that, so I hope we get explanations for this, but I wouldn't count it. But I think with the Magic Breaker thing, we will, considering the end of this volume, which I'll get onto soon. In CRC's hell, it basically changes slightly depending on your sin or your perception. Toma is apparently the key to getting through this hell. Apparently, CRC, oh yeah, perhaps he thought, oh, I can't get this through this hell alone. That's why he's staying at the gate. And that apparently Toma's Eastern version of hell contrasts with Kingsford and CRC's perception of it, which is the Western version, and that balances it. That's the way I think it works. It's not explained in detail at all. Anna Kingsford just says, oh, he's the key in a little emoji thing. But surely if there's two of them, you know, you got two Western versions of hell in CRC and Anna Kingsford, and you got one Eastern version, then surely it's 2v1, and then the balance is imbalanced. It's not balanced, it's 2v1. How is he the key then? And then, yes, because hell changes based on your sin and perceptions, Toma's lust for Anna Kingsford brings to life funny moments with giant boob mountains and stuff. Yeah, I'm not joking, there's giant boob mountains. And okay, I can forgive it for like chapter 1 in Index, like an Index volume. Chapter 1's fine. You know, I can forgive that. Because, you know, that's how Kamachi does it nowadays. He does the fan servicey, stupid, silly stuff in chapter 1, and he gets onto the serious stuff after that. But no, it's a recurring thing throughout the entire volume. In the final fight, where it's serious, like CRC versus Toma, you've got like all the stuff from hell, from the top layers, coming down to the bottom where the staircase is, where Toma can climb up to the, you know, the real world and come back to life, essentially. That's what we think. So we got all the monsters coming down, but you also got like the boobs and coming down at the same time. It's like, oh, that's funny, isn't it? Like, come on, this is a serious final fight to decide who's gonna live and who's gonna die, who's gonna get sentenced to the real hell for eternity. And you're doing that, Kamachi? Like, he said, oh, I want it to be like heavy objects, because heavy objects, we have a serious war, but it's light-hearted. Come on, man. This doesn't work in Index at times. Like, I'm not saying to make it 100% serious. Have the comedic elements. I was fine with it in the beginning. But when you have the final fight, we don't need giant boom mountains coming down on top of them while they're fighting. Oh yeah, in the final fight. So CRC, yes, betrays them. He says, oh yeah, I was the guy who made us hell this entire time, blah, 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 blah. And CRC and Toma have a rematch. And Toma is a lot better against CRC now than how he was in the past in GT9, because he knows how CRC likes to fight. But have you forgotten, Toma? Have you forgotten, Kamachi, that CRC's magic completely nulls a Magic Breaker? A Magic Breaker can't fully negate the diamond firing bullshit magic of his. Index said that she can analyze magic for a living, and a Magic Breaker supposedly doesn't work on that. But in this volume, it's not even explained how he countermeasures it. He's just like, oh yeah, I can stop it now because I'm more experienced than you, CRC. I know all your tricks. You're not a random guy anymore to me. I'd be fine with that. Trust me. That does take into account like how well he do against CRC now. If he's got more experience, he knows all his tricks and stuff. But the way in which he does it, he doesn't say, oh yeah, I know how to get around the diamond thing now. It's just like, oh yeah, I just know how it works. I can just null it. It's not explained how he counters it properly. Oh yeah, and back to why Anna Kingsford being in this volume may have been a bad decision. I like how she was in the volume. I do see the benefits of her being there. I like her as a character. She's very attractive. And yeah, I like the fact, oh yeah, she was kind of a benevolent Lucifer as opposed to the malevolent Lucifer that CRC was, in the fact that she basically manipulated Toma in a good way to take the staircase and not care about them, while CRC was trying to put doubt in his mind. That's what I'm referring to. If it was just Toma and CRC, then Toma would be forced to rely on CRC to get through hell. There'd be a reason for them to accept CRC into their party, or just like him and Toma, he'd be lost. He would need CRC to get through. While if he's with Kingsford, he doesn't really need CRC. Why? Why do you need CRC? At all. You don't need him. You know he's going to betray him. Like, the plot twist that CRC is going to betray Toma and gang is obvious. I mean, the Kingsford thing was a bit murky. I didn't know 100% if Kingsford had a bad side to her. But with CRC, it was obvious. And then, if you even look at the chapter names and compare the chapter name of when they fought in GT9 to the chapter name where they fought in GT11, they're exactly the same. So you knew there was going to be a final fight between CRC and Toma, if you were aware of that fact. So it was obvious, even to me. Like, I didn't see the spoilers and I knew that just by comparing them. Oh, I haven't gotten to something important. So, yeah, in my volume prediction, I thought, oh yeah, we're going to meet Lucifer, like the King of Hell, and we do meet some demons and stuff. Like, they do a bunch of side quests in Hell that don't really amount to anything. It's just wasting time, like getting keys from different monsters. It's like, why do you need to do this? I get you need to waste time, but it didn't seem like there was interesting stuff to do in Hell. It was just like, get from point A to point B. It was just like, oh, look, here's a boob mountain. And it's like, oh, there's a cool monster. And that was it. Like, it was just disappointing. I wanted more out of Hell. I wanted the real Hell. And yes, Lucifer technically is in this volume. Lucifer, Satan, whatever. But he basically does nothing. He's just in the background and he gets one shot by Anna Kingsford. And yes, okay, you can say it's not the real Lucifer, but I wanted more. I would like to see Lucifer as the main antagonist of this volume. And just get more about him, because we know a lot about Lucifer thanks to the lore with, like, Michael and Fiamma. But no, we don't get that. And whether we will see the real Hell is yet to be seen, but it seems like, oh yeah, this is just like a filler volume this is just a precursor to going to the real Hell. Because I don't know if Toma will come out of like Hell and be in the real world and be like, oh, maybe we should go back and save Anna Kingsford and CRC from the real Hell, considering, yeah, CRC's kind of accepts his fate, and he's like, okay, I can understand now that my ideology may have had some like good in the world and that, so CRC had somewhat of a redemption, very short, but I guess he just kind of didn't die in hatred, I suppose. I do like that for him. But yeah, whether we'll go back and see the real Hell, I'm not sure. But yeah, one other thing I liked was that Hell was formed of different ideas, or the fake Hell, I should say. It's formed of different ideologies, so it's not just purely Christian version of Hell. There's a load of different like theologies in there, so that was cool. But again, it's not the real Hell, so who cares? So yeah, I am really conflicted about this volume. As you know, I liked the overall characters. The characters were amazing in it. I really liked Terma's character. Yes, both Kingsford and CRC are sent to the real Hell as Terma climbs the staircase, and it's the ending. Oh, the ending's interesting because, yeah, it's another cliffhanger ending. Cliffhanger Testament, that's what GT should be called now in the real world, where in the District 7 hospital, where Terma's body is basically put in the District 7. It's basically put in the morgue, or where they store bodies. And he's basically been stitched together like Frankenstein's monster. And there's seemingly no life in his body. And yeah, he's just stitched together like Frankenstein's monster. He looks a mess, and there's nothing. So what's going to happen next? I have no idea what is going to happen next. Is Toma's body going to come to life like Frankenstein, or did he actually make it? Is he going to go to heaven? Is he going to hell? Was it all in vain? I have no idea. Will he want to go back to Hell to save Anna Kingsford? No, that if he does wake up and then realizes, oh yeah, I was completely different back when I was in CRC's Hell, will he be aware and want to go back? I don't know. Oh, what I do want to see is more about the dragons, because Kamachi lately has been referencing the dragons almost like every volume in a row, which is very rare. We rarely get Kamachi like talk about the dragons at all. So Toma keeps saying, oh, I shouldn't use the dragon strike, I shouldn't use it. So I hope that's building up to something with the dragons. I really do. So I'd like to see that in the future. But yeah, this volume, like, I had to reread it again because I just wasn't sure. I was like, did I miss like these details? Did I miss the explanations for this? And turns out I didn't. Some things I missed, which I'm glad I managed to go back and take notice of, which I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I like what Kamachi's done there. But yeah, the main plus of the volume is the lore with chapter 2. It's really good. I really rate that highly. It reminds me of like NT18 with Alistair's backstory. Really well done, Kamachi. But everything else, like, what were you doing? What are you doing, Kamachi? You need to step on the ball. Like, this volume was disappointing overall, and it's a shame because GT10 was so good, but it was always going to be a tough task to say, okay, you just kill off the MC. What do you do from here? And it's always going to be obvious that Toma's going to come back in some capacity. So while GT10 was good on its own, I fear that the volume's quality might go down in my book because of what comes after it, which is a shame because GT10 was, yeah, one of the best GT volumes and one of the best index volumes in my opinion. Even though I went ham on GT11 in this volume, I do like it overall. I'm just annoyed because I wanted to be so much better. So yeah, I'm gonna have to rate GT11 a 6 out of 10. Like, this is one of the lowest rated GT volumes. It's got some really good stuff in there, but high highs, but the plot just does not make sense to me. If you can make sense of it, if you can address my criticisms in the comments, please do, because I want this volume to be good. I really wanted this volume to be good. So if you've got explanations for this, like addressing my criticisms, then please let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Check out my other Genesis Testament videos on screen right now, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.